welcome to Fast Tracks Live, Electrical Code Academy's coffee hour. Dude, we can even say Trade Hog Central. Welcome to the live stream here. It is February 4th, if you're keeping track. We're already clicking along into the new year. Dude, life passes you by. Let me tell you what, it goes quick, all right? Goes quick. So like always, do me a favor, guys and gals, because I know there's some gals that watch the show. Make sure that you let us know your name and where you're from if you're a Fast Track student. And also, don't forget to hashtag win so that you can get in on the spin. Wait, that sounded like I planned that. But anyway, you get the point. We want you to be a part of the show, interact with us, tell us what's going on in your neck of the woods. Let us know interesting story that you may have had at the water cooler, something you want us to discuss. As you can see, we are now sponsored by not only ECA Inc., but the new Trade Hog. If you didn't watch my presentation yesterday on Trade Hog, or if you have questions about Trade Hog, check it out. Go look at it. It's an amazing AI tool for electricians, plumbers, mechanical, and it's getting better. We're uploading, Jeff is going to be uploading 2 more databases up into the Hog. It won't be available on the one that's right there for you to play with today, but it will be as we release the model and the pay platform. But anyway, the Hog is going to change everything when it comes to being able to get answers in the field. And if it's something you don't like, you keep asking it. But unlike normal ChatGTP, ours is going to be centered around the trades and making sure that responses come back that are very technical. That's the deal with the Hog. All right, so we're feeding the Hog. Thanks for joining me. Let me do a little bit of introductions here. In the morning, right out the gate, Adam didn't even want to say good morning. He was just like, win, hashtag win. He wants to get on drawing, increase his chances of getting that free software that was graciously given to us by Steve Griffin over there at Best Bid Hybrid. Tino in the house, in for the win. There you go. Thanks, Tino, for coming. Okay, Adam, here's the normal Adam entry here. Okay, let the knowledge flow. Where's the pint of coffee comment there? Paul, you are... awesome. Thank you for joining me. Frank's in the house. Frank is in the house. I do have some congratulations in order here. We got to yell out too. So, Tito, there you go. There you go. Let's see. Amen to that, Adam. Yep. And you got the gift that Adam gave you, that spin. Good morning, Paul. Good morning. Thanks for having you here. Jonathan's in the house. Alabama and Southern Tennessee. What a mix that is. There you go. All right. Tino, Boss Hog. Boss Hog, if you're from Houston, there you go. Good morning, Dave. Thanks for joining us down in Florida, getting your day started down in the Sunshine State. Who else we got down here? Edgar's in the house. We got the regulars all lined up here. Share with everybody. Let's make this thing something in the morning. It's just to get your coffee going, get your drive going, get you used to the day. Edgar, thanks for joining us. Let's see here. We got a bunch of people hitting that hashtag win, wanting to get in on the spin. There we go. Manny's, my only Manny. Well, I got multiple Sanchez's, but this is my Facebook. This is my Facebook Manny. There you go. 5 a.m. Dude, that's, you know what? That's freaking dedication. You can join us at 5 a.m. anywhere. That's what I'm talking about. Hashtag Trade Hog. Okay, let the good times roll. Hey guys, if you tried out Trade Hog, you messed around with it, let me know what you think. Again, it's okay. It's a learning model. This is the version that we're building onto, and you'll notice that it brings back different results than you would if you use some other ChatGPT, because this is how we're designing it. But we haven't even loaded in all the database info yet. So tell me what you think. It costs us money for you to use it, but I want you to use it. Try it out. See what you think. And we're going to be expanding that platform, so don't worry. Red Dog, what's up? Oh, and we got some neat swag coming out with the Hog on it. And very trade specific. So it's just kind of cool shirts to wear. But one thing about the swag for the Hog, when we come out with it, we're not going to bombard you with URLs trying to convince other people. It's going to be truly a fun line, that type of thing. So that just neat to have. If you're a tradesman, you want people to see it. And you're like, dude, I'm the head hog. All right, let's see here. Let's see what we got. Red Dog, good morning. Let's see here. Jonathan's got a question already out the gate. Jonathan, I will answer that question for you, most certainly. Let me get back. Let me get some intros real quick. And then I'll get back. I will get your question. I promise you, I always answer the questions. And we are some questions. And I do have an announcement for some more questions because we're always changing this. If you're new here, we've only been doing this for a couple weeks, and it's evolved already. You've seen it evolve. But we're going to be also introducing the Nika questions of the day, so we can dissect Nika, the questions, the responses, and maybe we go even deeper. This is going to be a think tank for you guys that's like nothing else. So not only are we bringing the hog, but we're also bringing changes to this morning show to make it better and better and better. And we're excited. I told y'all when I came back to Virginia, we were getting so much stuff that's going to be going on. But I'll get your question, Jonathan, I promise you. And if I don't, remind me, but I will. Joe Anderson, early for a retired guy. That's what I'm talking about, Joe. John, that's early, John, for my eyes suck. So I'm looking at a little screen. It is early for a retired guy, but the fact that you came on here, that we do appreciate it. I don't know that I'll ever retire. Hopefully, I'm going to work until I die, but I guarantee you ain't really retired. You probably work more now than you did before. What's up, Van Man? Sarasota, Florida. Down in Sunshine State, still pumping down in the house. TJI, there you go. Southern Alabama, fast track student. Holla. And there you go. We got some women in the house. There you go. Good morning, Hanford. And you got Dan from, is it Chili Cold, Dan, up in Chicago? I've got a nephew that's in Chicago now. He's a head coach for a little college right outside. I can't remember the name of the college. A little college that's right outside of Chicago, and he's their pitching coach. He did really good when he was in college. People think, you pitch in college that you can go right, that you'll go to the pros. Very small amount ever make it to the pros. But he was really good in that smaller school and won all kinds of stuff. And so he's a pitching coach up there. So anyway, okay. Let's get to some announcements. Let me go to the chat so that you can all chime in on these announcements here. So let's kind of go to the chat. We can all join in. Remember, folks, hashtag win. I should put that up here. Hashtag win to get in the spin. All right. And maybe you get eligible to win the software, some coins, all kinds of stuff that we're going to be drawing for, as well as Fast Tracks Tube. And that's going to be expanding too. I got an announcement for Fast Tracks Tube in a couple weeks that it's going to blow your mind too. So we're constantly innovating. It looks like we have some viewers over on our Fast Tracks Tube as well. Looks like TJ is watching over on the Fast Tracks Tube. So that is awesome. Can't figure out how to get icons over there. It just shows a little silhouette of a dude, but figure that out. So yeah, hashtag win, get you in the spin, and we're going to spin in a second for somebody. But let's talk about real quick some of the things to be aware of. First of all, I probably heard the news. If you're in Texas, then you probably have heard that they changed the Texas journeyman exam. So the journeyman exam is now going to be like the master's exam. So if you haven't heard, and we're also going to be doing a lot of news stuff in the future for the industry so you can kind of get up on things. Now it is a dual test, just like it is for the master. So journeyman's in Texas, and this might become a trend. I helped get this started in Texas, love or hate me. It really emphasized calculations, and I think everybody should learn calculations. And it's one of the reasons in our course, people ask why I don't have a separate journeyman and master's course. The reason for that is because I believe that you should learn the code purely as it is. I don't think we should segregate it out to journeyman or master. I want you to go in over prepared. That's the kind of approach that I have. And so that's why we teach calculations. It doesn't matter whether you're a journeyman or master or what, because obviously we could break that up. But I believe that you should get more value for your money. And so we give it to you all, that type of thing. So anywho, so that's the news from Texas. All right. So that one. What else that I wanted to tell you? Oh, I wanted to tell you that in this morning shows coming up in the future, and I did tell you a little while ago, we are going to be adding, buenos dias, Andres. Welcome. we're going to be adding looking at questions like Nika question of the day. Okay. Now, for a little mini lesson today, I want to take y'all through the most important tables to remember, to commit to memory in the NEC. And I'm just going to throw tables out there for you to try to remember. And ones that I feel are the more important ones that if you see something on an exam, you just need to try to get used to remembering. So I'm going to kind of cover a bunch of those, be focusing on 250, we'll be focusing on 430. Those are the main things I'll be focusing on in the tables to remember. Okay, so it's going to be a quick little lesson for that. And then, of course, we're going to look at some code questions. Now, the code questions today are coming out of our Journeyman database. It's exam number 4. It's included with your Fast Tracks program. So we'll be using that, okay, today. So let's see, what other news? Other news, the Hog is ready for those that want to test it out. Good morning, Rob, welcome. If you want to test it out, it's free right now. And the cost of it eventually is going to be about the same as ChatGTP Plus. $20 for the basic plan. I think it's $29.95 for the premium. And you're going to get a bunch of extras with the premium. And you're going to get your own a separate mobile app that's going to be part of the premium and other different things that you're going to get with that. So again, it's basically perfect for in the field. And we're also going to be going around the country starting in the summer, promoting Trade Hog at some shows and things like that. So we're going to be feeding that database manuals and all kinds of stuff. So exciting things are going to come to the Trade Hog. Okay. All right. And we'll give away some swag for the Trade Hog too, coming up, that type of thing. Okay. All right. What else? What I got to announce? I had something else I was supposed to announce. Oh, also over on, hey, what's up, Manuel? That's my other Sanchez is in the house. Val, thanks for joining. And I got you, Frank. Thanks for joining. The other thing is the interactive videos that are over on the Fast Tracks Tube. We have a couple more that'll be coming out here in the next week or two. And then those, we had to test it. And we tested it and it worked with the one that's up there now. But we will definitely, now that it works and everything is going fine with it, we're going to be rolling out more of the interactive courses or interactive videos, if you will, over on Fast Tracks Tube. So if you're a subscriber, look for that to come out. So those are kind of the news stuff that are coming out from that. Okay. That's it. All right, for that. Okay. So all right, let's go on and get into some lessons and look at some test questions. Okay. Oh, I got to answer the question. Hold on. I almost forgot. Let's see here. Hold on here. Red, that's a good question. Hold on. We'll talk about that. That's the kind of questions. Ask us anything. But let me make sure I go back and answer Jonathan's question real quick because I don't want to leave. Let your questions roll, guys. I'm more than happy to answer anything. Let's see. And let's see here. Let's show this real quick. Okay, Jonathan. Is ground rods required for a feeder in detached garages? Okay, so the answer to that is going to lie in 250.32. And basically, when you're running to a detached structure, like a garage, if you're going to put a panel in there, then what happens is you have to establish a grounding electrode system. Does it have to be ground rods? No. Could you have a concrete slab with rebar in it that qualifies as a UFR? That would be fine. Could you have a ground ring? Yeah, too much trouble, but yeah, you could. So yes, you have to establish. Now, since you said feeder, it implies that you're putting a panel in that detached structure. If that's the case, then you have to establish a grounding electrode system. You're going to run 4 conductors out there, right? Separate the neutrals from the grounds. And when you put that grounding electrode system, it comes up to the equipment ground that's being fed to that panel, not to the neutral. Okay, still want to keep that separation. All right, so yes, but are ground rods required? No. It can be any of the electrodes that are in 250, 52, A2, 3, 4, 5, whatever that type of. It doesn't have to be ground rods. Okay. And the other question that people ask, like you have here, is a ground rod. It's no different to the detached structure it is for a regular structure, is that you typically will put 2 rods in if you're going to use rods. Okay, no sense in putting rods in with something else because you don't have to supplement a UFR ground, that type of thing. So if you're going to choose the rods, you put 2 in unless you can do what? You can show 25 ohms or less, which you can't use a normal ohms meter to do this, right? So you have to use a ground resistance meter or fallout potential meter. Too much trouble, by the way. But if you could show that, then you could drop it down to 1. But if you can't show that and you're going to go with rods, then you would stick in 2, right? So that's if you're going to use rods. So yes, detached structures, you have to establish a grounding electrode system. What's the exception to this? The exception to this, if you're like going to a garage that you're just taking a branch circuit out there, like a UF, and even a multi-wire technically gets you 2 circuits out there with a shared neutral. But that's all considered 1 circuit in the code. If you're just doing some lights and you're doing some receptacles, and your disconnects could be the snap switches, those could be the disconnects that are required there under 225, right? In that scenario, you don't have to establish a grounding electrode system. You can use the equipment ground in those branch circuits, but that's a specific allowance. If you're going to put a panel in there, then you have to establish a grounding electrode system. Does that make sense, Jonathan? I wanted to make sure I answered your question. And a lot of times I go into a lot of detail, so I just want to make sure that that does answer your question. What's up, Chris? Welcome. Terrence, that's a familiar face. Welcome, Terrence. Thanks for joining us. So TJI, 2 ground rods on a detached structure. Yes, maybe I did not make myself clear again. It's just like a temporary pole. There is nothing in the NEC that says that you can only put 1 unless you can show 25 ohms or less. So detached structures still susceptible to the same surges, still susceptible to the same high power to low power, all the same. So the rules in the NEC about ground rods, okay, and when you're dealing in 250.52 or the installation of them in 250.53, it applies the same. So I get a lot of people that say, wait a minute, I have a temporary pole. I only put 1 ground rod. Well, if that's what your AHJ allows, that's one thing, but the code doesn't know any different, right? So when you go look at 590, it tells you to follow the rules back in 230, right? So you got to follow the rules, and the 230 ends up putting you in 250.52. And if you're going to choose ground rods as an electrode, then you have to treat it. So that's why I tell you, sometimes people make code more complicated. Not you, TJI, the industry, inspectors, they make code a lot more difficult. That's why it's going to be awesome for TradeHog, because you could have put that question into TradeHog and it will pull up code references and answers. That's going to be the beautiful thing to do that, right? So at the end of the day, one of the great things, Davey didn't even say hi. He just jumps out the bat with a question. So at the end of the day, keeping it simple means that we can keep it simple and say whether it's a house or a dwelling, if a grounding electrode system or a temporary pole, regardless of what your locality will allow, we're talking purely code, because I don't get into localities. I just talk about code I'm sorry, Davey, I'm just teasing you. I'm talking about in a macro level, not a micro level. So I'm talking about the code in general. It may modify depending on your jurisdiction, and sometimes they bring in rules that they don't even know what they're talking about, and you are forced to have to follow those rules, and that's sad. But it may be something that gets adjusted depending on the condition of use in your area. Like, it's not going to be the same sometimes in Florida that will be in Chicago, but the code itself applies to all 50 states. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And Mexico and other countries and things like that utilize the NEC. All right, so hold on. I'm going to try to get all these questions. So let me see. Let me try to make sure I answer all these questions really quickly, because these are just as important as looking at code questions. Your questions, that type of thing. All right, let's see here. I got a question. Red, I need to answer this question for Red Dog. I said, I'm about to hit the company up for a raise. Okay, whoop, 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 whoop. I don't have a, who do I have a, hold on. Feeling a little nervous, okay? Do you have any words of advice or suggestions? First of all, you know your value. And, it's not a matter of wanting more money or because you feel like, if you're doing it because you see somebody else is getting more. I used to tell guys that, look, you negotiate whatever your pay is or wherever you start at in the ladder, and it is what it is. But if you're doing the work, you're taking the leadership role, you're doing those things that really make you stand out, you deserve a raise. Everybody deserves a raise, a bump, because you know what? The cost of eggs is still going up. All right. Okay. Bird flu or not. So life, you know what I'm saying? So if you feel comfortable, and then when you say you're a little nervous, Are you nervous because of your position in the company? Are you nervous? Have you caused problems? Are you on the edge of where you're like, or are you like, dude, I work hard for this company. I'm dedicated. I deserve a raise. I deserve a little more. It never hurts to ask. Now, the advice I can give you is it's important in how you ask for a raise. Okay, and I have a podcast actually on this. You go to it in an approach of, I'm having, I think that I'm worth a little more. I think I'm worth a raise. Don't put a number on it because they'll have a number, and you just approach it straight out with it. And you never ask it around other people. You take them to the side. You make it a moment that they don't feel pressured, that type of thing, that somebody's watching. You do it privately. And I always tell people it's best to do it on your own time, before work or after work, if you can pull the boss or whoever makes the decision aside. I found it's never been good to do this while you're working. For some reason, it just seems to turn off the bosses or the people that can give you the raise. So that type of thing. But you feel you've earned it. If you feel you've earned it, there is absolutely nothing wrong with asking. What's the old saying I tell people? You're not going to get something unless you ask for it. Same like the Zig Ziglar, right? The old saying about sales. What's the old saying with sales? You're not going to get it if you don't ask for it. So don't be afraid to ask for it. That type of thing. What do we got here? Adam says I should put a subscription to the Hog. Well, we're not finished all that yet, but I would say most certainly, Adam, that's going to happen. Okay, I most certainly think that will happen, but it's free for everybody right now anyway. So once everything in the background is being done, all the stuff that's constantly, well, it'll never be done feeding the Hog, but because we're constantly feeding it manuals, documents, but there's API changes that we're making on the back end and how we do things on the site and entering in the other features that enhance it. So I say enjoy it right now while we're rolling out the free version. And I most certainly will give away one on here, or two, or three, or four. Okay. Jonathan says, thank you. That's how I read it, but just needed some clarification. Absolutely. That's what we're here for. All right. Make sure you guys are putting in the hashtag win so you can be a part of it. So let's see what Davey's got here. So I got a question. Why does the code eliminate a service disconnect for a water heater and HVAC equipment? There's a lockout breaker. So service disconnects actually have absolutely nothing to do with those type of things. Now, I'm assuming you're talking about making connections to certain things on the supply side. So you can only make connections to the supply side on things that are in 230.82, tells you what you can have. So service disconnects would not really be anything for water heaters or HVAC equipment because they're on the load side of a service disconnect. Okay. So I'm not familiar with what you're talking about, Davey, on that. So you have service disconnects that are only for services, or if anything that's permitted to be connected ahead of the service disconnect, then you're going to go look at 230.82, and that tells you what can be ahead of it, that type of thing. But I don't think HVAC equipment can be ahead of it. So typically on HVAC equipment, you're going to have it on the load side. So you'll have an upstream disconnect, right? And branch circuit typically, unless you're feeding another panel that's feeding the equipment. So if it's going from the service panel, and it's hitting a simple disconnect right there at the equipment, then you are required now to label it, right? 110.22 requires labeling to let me know what breaker upstream, all those type of things. You do have allowances for things that are within site, okay? Those type of scenarios. When it comes to HVAC, it's required to have the disconnect there, that type of thing, but you could have a panel right beside it, that type of thing. Terminologies make a difference. So service disconnects, I'm not sure of anything that eliminates service disconnect. And anything that's connected on the supply side of the service disconnect has to be treated like a service, that type of thing. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question. I don't know if it did, but okay. Let's see here. Russ is in the house. Thanks for joining, Russ. Let's see here. What do we got here? I'm trying to catch up on these questions, guys. In this economy, we are all underpaid. I started at 750 in 2000. Times have changed. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. How do I get the hog? Just go to tradehog.net. That's how you go there. Tradehog.net and play with that bad boy. Chief Hog is constantly learning. Right now, Jeff is uploading a couple manuals from manufacturers for specific stuff. But definitely, that's where you go. Go to tradehog.net. That's where you do it. The free version is at tradehog.net. Give it a shot. Play with it. Okay. Let's see here. What do we got? Michael says, taking my third master's exam Friday in the program. Been really helpful. Thanks. Well, fingers are crossed for you. We're always here if you need it. Also, shouting out to Charlie, who's probably not in here today. He's with his wife. I hope everything went good. They're having a new baby. Hopefully, he'll share some pictures with me and I can share it with everybody on here. Well, here's a face. Robert. Welcome, Robert, from San Antonio. Thank you, Robert. Let's see here. Richard, good morning. Let's see here. I'm getting through these questions. Richard says the hog. Adam's giving some advice. He says, Red Dog, go get that money. If you believe you deserve it, absolutely. You work for a company for over 25 years. I never ask I never ask I should off. You go get the money. Money, mate. Go get it. Show money. You earned it. Okay. Put in the time, sweat and tears, and you've been an asset to the company. Why shouldn't you get a raise? Absolutely. All right, let's look at a couple code questions. Oh, let's spin the wheel. Give a freebies away real quick. Let's give some stuff away. I've held you guys up here too long before giveaways. Remember, guys, hit the hashtag win. I'll give you a few seconds to do that if you haven't done it yet. If you're watching this, hashtag win. We're giving away a bunch of stuff. And next week, we're adding some even more stuff. So those wedges are going to get smaller and smaller, but it's going to have more stuff. Okay. Believe it or not, it's better when the wedges are smaller. You get much more options for more product scope. All right, ready? We're going to spin the wheel and give it somebody, and then we're going to look at some code questions. Okay, I know it's been a while, but again, this is coffee hour. We like to talk about anything, code questions, ask us questions. I'm going to do a quick little lesson as well, so it might be a little longer than normal today. Okay, as Adam would say, you better have a pint of coffee when I'm talking. Okay, so let's spin this wheel. All right, let's choose first somebody to spin the wheel. My high-techy, crazy music that won't get me in copyright trouble. I'll answer you, Davey. Adam, let me get you down here real quick. I should probably have one of the girls do this, keep track of this stuff, but I don't. For the 501, for the welcome, for the service too. Okay, all right, let's spin the wheel for Adam. Samantha, just go to tradehog.net. That's it. tradehog.net, baby. It's free right now. Right on the line, Adam. I think you already have a subscription. If you do, let me know, and we'll spin again for you. I'm just looking here, Adam. Adam French. All right, Adam. You're in the best bid drawing. Okay, so you're in that, and you might already have Fast Tracks Tube. That's right, guys. Hit hashtag win. Give you a chance to spin. Adam, I don't see you down here to be on the tube. So I don't know if you have a tube subscription. You might already have a tube subscription. That type of thing. But I'm going to put you down as Fast Tracks Tube, and we'll go from there. All right. Let's do somebody else here real quick. Let's pick another one real quick. Welcome, Michael. Spartan Hero Electrics in the house. Davey Dover is in the house. Richard Geiger. All right, Adam says pass it on. We'll spin for you again, Adam, rather than pass it on. So you can get listen to something else. All right, I don't know what that spin was all about because I didn't pick a person. So let me let's pick a person. I probably should have done that. I'm getting all confused. Let's pick somebody. It just gives y'all more chances to get in. Now this is for you, Adam. We'll do you in a minute, Adam. Let's pick another person to give away. Damn, I'm all confused this morning. I gotta get more coffee in me. Hey, David Bermudez. Is that right? David Bermudez. And now here's the neat thing about it. If you get Fast Track's Tube, let me ask you this, Adam. If you get Fast Track's Tube, you can actually get another year added onto it if that's your choice. So I'll stack it for you and give you another one, that type of thing. That way you get 2 years, okay? So rather than pass it on, you want that option? Okay. All right. So David Bermudez, let's spin and see what you get. So Adam, I could stack it and give you another year. Or extend the year from wherever you're at. It just kind of will extend it another, or whatever is remaining. That's the best option than to give it away, because that way, if you've used it for 5 months, you get a whole year starting from whenever we upgrade you. All right, David Bermudez, that's the same thing for you. David, you got registered for a coin yesterday. So let's see here. I'm seeing where else on the list here. Okay. So you have a Fast Tracks Tube as well. David, let us know if you have it already. We'll extend it to 12 months from whatever the day is we extend it. To do that, we'll do that as well for you. All right, let's get to a lesson real quickly. I want to do a lesson. Okay. Well, let's do a question, then I'll do a quick lesson of the most important table things to remember in the tables in the code. All right, first let's do a question real quick on the code here. You got your code books handy? Let's look at this. I will do you a little bit of thinking music while you look at this. And we dissect it. I'm going to tell you right now, looking at this question, I'm going to tell you this should tell you exactly where you need to be. Okay. All right. What article? And you could go in the index and look. Okay. And this is the things you're looking for, and these are voltage levels. So let me do a little music, let you see if you can find the answer to this one. Put it in the comments. Now I'm dissecting this question. I'm looking at it. Okay, I got underwater luminaires. Okay. I know what article this is in. All right, Adam, this is definitely not a service question, so I'm assuming you have a delay in your question, in your thing. So certainly not a underwater luminaire question. Okay. All right. So there we go. Adam's 230. I think it's 230.82. It's the list of what you can have on the supply side. All right. Everybody looking here? Still waiting? Give me some answers. I'm getting no participation today. Said I think it's not looping. I think Adam also 230.81, if my memory serves me right, that's for connections to terminals. Okay, so that's for service conductors, pressure connectors, clamps, other approved means, and you can't have connections that solely depend on things like solder. I think that's what 230.81 is all about. All right, okay. TJI has given us a response. And he's giving us a code reference as well. I think he's leaving something out, a letter out. I think he's leaving a letter out, but I think he gets it. John, I didn't see you sneak in there. Welcome. John's in there. Let's see here. Put on my goggles. I get it. All right, let's go to the index. Let's go to the code real quick and see what we're looking for. So I'm going to do bold scanning for this. Show you a little lesson on bold scanning really quickly because I like to reiterate that. So let's go on and go to the NEC. Okay, so we're in the NEC. This is Link, by the way, for those that wonder where we're getting the codes from. You should have Link. It's an amazing subscription for Link. All right, so there you go. So we're bold scanning. And in our code book, we were looking, and what we're focusing on is underwater luminaires. That's the first trigger. Okay, now you could go to the index and look under underwater luminaire. We're not going to go to the index today. We could. I can test it out, and hopefully it doesn't crash everything. So let's see if I share this tab instead. There we go. All right, so it worked. For how long it works, I don't know, but bear with me. So I could go down here and we would go to, first thing I would do, just kind of give you this one lesson with the index here. I could go down to underwater, look under use, okay? It says under floor, there's under, let's see here, under. This is how you do it, guys. This is how you use the index. You go through and say, okay, do I see anything in here that says anything about underwater, okay? This is how we do it. We're just looking. So for those that are new, what you do is when you're trying to get used to, and we all know that we're talking about a swimming pool, but if you use the index, this is what you should be doing. You should be looking and saying, okay, is there anything in here that talks about underwater? That way we get that out of the way, and in your mind, you get rid of it and you never have to go there again for that type of thing. So I don't see anything about underwater. Okay, at least I'm not seeing it. Some people look at better eyes than me. All right, I don't see anything. So the next you're talking about, this is underwater luminaires. Well, what would you be talking about? Well, we know that we're talking about, and I see some answers coming in the chat. Y'all are doing awesome. Tell me in the chat how you found it. Then the next thing, okay, so the next thing I would look here is, okay, then I would go to swimming pools, right? And I would go to swimming pools. So here we go. Swimming pools, fountain and spas, installation. There we go. Okay. Hold on. Oh, that's actually under something. We have to go actually to swimming pools. Let's see here. Bear with me. It is a lot harder than you think, guys, using this. Okay. Here's swimming pools right here. Right. And what we're looking for is what? Underwater luminaires, or anything to do with luminaires, or anything to do with voltage between conductors, all those type of things. There's Adam. 18 inches is not in the question, Adam. That's why I say you got to remember the question. Got to focus on remembering. When you see it on the screen, you got to lock it in. We're talking about not the depth down for the actual luminaire. We're talking about the voltage, okay? Voltage between conductors on an underwater luminaire. That's the key. All right. So let's see here. So let's look and see what we got here. Okay. Fountain, junction, luminaires. Okay. So we got luminaires right here. We see that there's a bunch of them. Now here's a little tip. Notice that when it says luminaires, it's .22, .23, .23, .24, .24. That right there is what you should be writing on your scratch paper, because that's the reason you don't want to have to go back to the index, okay? Write those things down on your paper. Guys, I can't emphasize that enough, that when you're in an exam and you've got your little scratch paper, you're asking, what is this for? That is when you're in the back, it's 680, so here's what you do. You draw on your scratch paper, you do a big 680 at the top, like that, and then underneath it, you write .22, .23, .24, just like this. And that's when you're going to bold scan. And that's what you keep. So that's a little tip. That's what you use that scratch paper for. Everybody asks, what's the scratch paper for? Just for calculations? No. It's while you're there, write down the main fundamental article, and then write down any subdivision, or in sections, I should say, any sections that you need to remember, so that when you go to the code, you're boom, 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 okay? You don't want to keep going back to the index because it's physically time consuming. Once I'm there, you've already committed to go there, get your little list. All right, so I'm here. Let's go back there real quick. And I'm here, and I'm going to go down. Okay, so there's my luminaire. So that's enough for me because we're talking about a luminaire. But I want to see if there's anything else in here while I'm here. Okay, all right, and look at this wiring too. Okay, not really part of it, but you see that's in 24. So we're going to be in the right location. So let's keep going. Lighting, okay, so down here, lighting, you also see 680, 22, 23, 20, all of it's right about in the same bold scan area. So we're good there. You have here low voltage contact limits. Okay, we have that as well. So that's all right about the same area. So bold scanning is going to do as well. Here's luminaires. Okay. 680.22. Notice that they're all around the same. Okay. So again, all that type of thing. And I'm just looking to see if there's anything else. This is what's called bold scanning, guys. And this is what you need to get used to doing when you're studying for the NEC. Oh, here we go right here. Look at here. Look right here. Underwater luminaires. 680.23, all of it's right in the same area. Now, this might be you write down a few more on your little scratch paper so you don't have to come back again. So I had 22, 23, 24. I'm going to do dot 26, and I'm going to do dot 20 and dot 33, even though that gets further into it. Okay, makes sense? All right, so let's do this. And we're back, and I'm getting this thing down. I'm learning. All right, so I'm going to start by jumping to dot 22. Right? And then we're going to bold scan from there. Okay. Lighting and receptacle equipment. Okay. So this is the receptacle part. Doesn't really help me. Okay. This is the lighting. All right. This is nothing about voltage. And remember the question. Let's go back real quickly to the lesson. This question is about voltage. So we're looking for these voltages in our bold scanning. Okay. I'm giving you a little lesson on how to prepare for an exam. Okay. How to do this. All right, so I don't see anything. These are all about distances and separations. All right, and then we've got, let's see here, where are we at? Okay, there we're getting in, this is low voltage luminaires. Again, this is about separation, distances. Okay, underwater luminaires, we're at the next one on our list, which is dot 23, okay? And then you've got luminaire design, okay, normal operation, all right? You got here, and you're looking at, okay, this is transformer and power supplies. This is GFCI protection for relamping and servicing. Boom. Voltage limitations. No luminaire shall be installed for operation on supply circuits over 150 volts between conductors. Boom. And it matches what we're looking for in the lesson, right? Right here, okay? There you go. 680.23A4. So that's just the logic train. I wanted to show you real quickly as a little lesson how we use the index. Now, why is this important? Well, what's important is that you do not want to start timing yourself. Here's a big tip for you guys that you've heard me say over and over again. Never use a timer that's built into any function. You want to use a timer on your phone or something so that you can actually set a timer to 2 minutes. Okay, look, the hog is on my screen. Look at that. Look at that screen. Y'all want that screensaver right there? Look at that. The hog. So at the end of the day, you don't need to worry about timing yourself. I'll say this again. You don't have to worry about timing yourself on any question until the last 2 weeks before your exam. Then you start timing yourself. In fact, I don't want students really even doing that while they're learning the course, while they're doing the competency review questions. And in our programs, take your time. You don't have to start functioning yourself to a time base until your last 2 weeks, okay? Because I don't want to discourage you in that process. So in this question that we just looked at, right here, this lesson question, if it takes me 20 minutes to dissect this sucker, that's okay. Don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. If they do, they're a hack. They are not an educator that's worth their salt. Get your money out of using the index. Now, in a program that is structured like ours, you're going to actually learn a lot of this stuff while you're going through the program. But please, don't feel like you have to time yourself to something that replicates an exam. Y'all with me? Like a 2-hour exam, do questions and have a 2-hour timer. And don't do that. I'm giving you the best advice I can give you on this. And other people will tell you. We have some shout outs to people just this week sent me emails and texts saying they passed their exam. We do this for a reason. Dissect a question. I'm probably the only educator in the country that's pushing this way. Dissect it. Take your time. Last 2 weeks, you can worry about the time. That is why we put our database questions in our program. That's why we put them at the end. Y'all have ever wondered why I do that for those that are in our program? I put them at the end because I don't want you to do that first. I want you to go through the course first. So if you're not even using our course, you buy questions somewhere, learn to dissect, take your time. Don't feel the stress of being rushed. Takes you 20 minutes. You go, how the hell can I do this? If the question, I got to have 2 minutes per question. Relax. There's a way to do this. There's a method to the madness. Okay. All right, let's answer another question. All right. Let's see. The next question is a copper conductor required to connect the common bonding grid on a swimming pool shall not be smaller than blank AWG. Now, you might already know this question. All right, guys, like Adam, all of y'all, lock this question in the brain before we go away from it. This is what I'm training you to do. Look at the question. This is training you in your brain. It's like brain factor 1000, right? You're reading the question and you're going to pull out in your mind, you're going to repeat it over and over in your mind. You're going to go, okay, what are the key things it's asking? It's a equipotential bonding grid. It's the common bonding grid, tying everything together around a pool. I got you. It's a swimming pool. I got you. And it's looking for a copper conductor that I need if I'm going to do a common grid. What does it need to be? Now, you probably already know this. And if you do on an exam, you answer it and you just keep on getting it, right? You just answer it and go. But I read this question and I think, oh, you know what it's talking about? The moment it said the word grid, I'm thinking about the equipotential grid around a swimming pool. All right, so I'm thinking it's swimming pool, right? So if I were to go to the NEC and I go here, I'm thinking, damn, this is in swimming pool, right? And you know that in swimming pool here, you've got equipotential bonding grid right here. If we were to go to the index right here, and let's see here, it's not loading my index. There we go. If we share this, same thing, because I was already at swimming pools, by the way, I think. So we're here at swimming pool, okay? Then we can look down and see what we're talking about when it comes to grounding and bonding. Okay, so I'm just looking down here and just seeing what it may say. Okay? This is how you dissect, guys. Just that simple. And you take your time. You don't be in a hurry. Okay, I'm looking here. There's maximum water line. Okay, let's see here. Looking down to see what references. And this is underwater. Hit grounding. So there's a lot of stuff in grounding. Okay. So I'm just looking down and saying, okay, what else may I find in here? And I'm going to dissect this question. Bonding. All right, so you got 7, 20. So I write my little numbers on my paper. I'm just going to write the first couple because it seems like those are pretty quick to bold scan, but I need to be where I need to be. All right, so I'm sitting there going, okay, so dot 7, dot 23, dot 26, dot 42. And as you get more familiar, you'll realize when you start getting up in the 40s, you're talking about more like hot tub spas and things like that. It just takes time. That's all. You get used to it. All right, so in this case, I'm going to go back to the right here, share this instead. All right, so I'm getting my shares better. So the first one I would have gone to is 7. And you see that is very generic. Okay, but this is for feeders and branch circuits, not talking about any grid, right? So I would have gone, the next one would be to 23. And we know that that's talking about underwater luminaires, so it's not talking about any grid. And you'll see those sizes aren't there, okay, that are given, 12, 10, 8, none of the above, right? I see some answers coming up in the chat there. Some people are throwing answers. Next one, I'd go to 26, and we see that that's equipotential bonding, okay? There you go. Now, what some people will get screwed by, right, in their mind, some people will get screwed by saying, all right, so they'll go, well, I didn't see the word grid in here yet. And they're like, but the question had grid. It's just, that's why they make you have a certain amount of code knowledge, right, prior to sitting for an exam. And maybe you have no experience in the pool industry. You might not. There's a lot of things you're going to do in your industry you have no knowledge of. That type of thing. As you see on the screen, Paul is hammering it out. There you go. The 501, hammering it out. That type of thing. All right, so we're over here looking, and let's go down. So what we're looking for is the bonding the parts. So we're tying everything together. So the parts of the grid, think of the grid as all of the pieces, right? You got the conductive pool shell, if you have one. You've got the perimeter bond. Right? You have any metal equipment that is within 5 feet. You have all this stuff around the pool. You got to tie it all together, right? And so this case right here, it says the parts specified in 680 26 B1 through B7 shall be bonded together. okay, forming a grid, if you will, using solid copper conductors, insulated, covered, or bare, but not smaller than 8. Okay, so here's an important distinction for those. I am on code panel 17, and we have a great video series over on Fast Tracks Tube that is like an 8-part series. Okay, and so it covers. If you haven't watched it, it's really still relevant even for 2023, but it's based on 2020. It's like a 7 or 8-part series. It's available for you on Fast Tracks Tube. We go through every piece of 680. So, and there's also an 8-hour calculations video over there on Fast Tracks Tube as well, if you're a subscriber. So you're going to get the learning over there as well. But one of the key things I wanted to point out here is this is where some people get confused. The grid itself, when you're interconnecting the pieces, tying them together, that does not have to be bare because you're tying pieces together. Okay. The conductive pool shell, which wraps around the pool if it is conductive, that has to be bare. Simplex is in the house. Welcome, James. So that has to be bare, right? The perimeter 3 feet out around, that has to be bare because it has to have contact with the earth, right? But the bonding wire that connects this grid together, that can be bare, covered, or insulated because that's just serving a function of connecting the pieces together. A lot of people didn't know that. Okay, so there you go. And here you see it says 8 and larger. There you go. And what are you doing? There you go. So 8 and larger, not smaller than 8. Can it be larger than 8? Absolutely, but why? Right? Why? Why would you do it? Why would you waste the money? Okay, so answer to this question, obviously, is 8. And our code reference is 680.26b. We got some questions in the chat, and then we're going to spin the wheel again. I know it was 8 because we went over last year in my first year as apprenticeship, and it was very interesting, this chapter. Absolutely, 680. Not my favorite code panel. I'm not going to lie, okay? People have said, Paul, is that your favorite code panel? I'm just going to say, no, it's not my favorite. Code panel 5 is my favorite. But 17 is okay. But my favorite code panel to be a part of is 5. Okay, but is what. Put hashtag win in there, and we're going to spin the wheel and give some more stuff away real quick. And then I'm going to do at the end, I'm going to do my tables that you should remember. So for all of you that have held in here, I'm going to do a little mini lesson on the end, but I want to spin the wheel again. I told you it'd be a little longer one today. Okay, and you see the topic today. Topic seems to be pools and hot tub. Swimming pool stuff. So again, very specific on today's lesson. All right, or today's code questions. All right, let's see what we got here first. Okay, let's reset it here. Remember, hashtag win. Get in this thing. Simplex is in the house. So I think Simplex is in multiple ones. He's trying to win multiple. He's increasing his odds of getting in here. All right, so let's go. We gotta have music. Edgar Paredes. Yesterday, Edgar got into the drawing for the Ohms wheel coin. For those that didn't see it, okay, this is the Ohms wheel coin, right? Master or journeyman. So we're doing a drawing for one of those, but we're going to do multiples. So even though you're in it, it's not just one coin. We'll pull out multiple names. Okay, so if you're in it, you could win it, and you get to choose what you want. Okay. James is his cute response. He's stuffing the ballot box, folks. He's in multiple ways. Okay, let's spin the wheel for Edgar. You ready? Let's go, Edgar. See what we can put you on the list for. Y'all let me know if you want me to put some of the giveaways, if you want me to put some of the Trade Hog shirts up there, the cool logo for the hog. We'll add those. It'll be huge. Huge. All right, Edgar, let's see here. Let me double check, Edgar, to see whether or not you already have this before, because I keep a running list. Lisp? Is a Lisp like a lisp with when I say Lisp? I have a lisp. Okay, I don't see you on the list, Edgar. So Samantha says, love, the hog shirts are going to be pretty cool. Very colorful shirts. Big hog on the back and a little hog on the front. Be perfect to wear on the job site, dude. I think they're going to be awesome. All right, Edgar, you want it? Fast Tracks Tube. All you got to do is go to Fast Tracks Tube. That's where you can get all those videos and stuff. Go to fasttrackstube.com and do me a favor. Just register for a free membership and let us know. And just email us, let us know you registered and everything. And we'll increase your thing up to the annual membership, and you get 12 months of access on us. All right, let's spin the wheel again. Let's pick somebody else. Do another one here, get this done. And then I'll stay tuned for my little lesson. Don't go anywhere. Most important tables to remember. Okay. Hashtag win. You want to get in the drawing, Ray, you got to put hashtag win. All right, Tino H. All right, Tino. Okay, you're in. Let's see what you can win, Tino, or what you can get put on the list. Still out there. Get that best fit hybrid next generation software over close to $4,000 value on the wheel. Very common one. So Tino H, you got an ohms wheel. I'm trying to see Tino. Tino, you already got a Fast Tracks Tube subscription, so we'll spin you again. I did that for you, Tino. I was like, you don't want another one. You don't want to add another year on it. I mean, obviously, you'll have a chance to spin. There you go. Spin again. There we go. Spin again. All right, so Tino, you might be thinking, I already have this, but actually it just increases the number of your names in the box for the drawing. So you could win multiple coins, okay? Because your name will stay in the box, okay? And in this coin, you could get something else. And we have other coins. If you're like at the end, you go, hey, can I have the coin, one of the other designs, like the Trump coin? I know, I get you. People say no, but you'll be able. So a win is a win for the coins, okay? Okay, so we're putting your name in there again for that one. Or you could take a second one and give it to a friend, okay? All right? All right, so we're going to do one more before I do the lesson, so we won't be coming back to the gifts. I'm going to do one more giveaway, so make sure you do hashtag win, and we're going to draw it, and then we're going to do our final little lesson for today. By the way, if you like it, give us some thumbs up, share it with other people. Tito says, give it to Adam. I think Adam's already on the drawing. Oh, you want to pay it back to Adam. Oh, hold on here. Look at the love that's going on in the room. You know what? Look at the love that's going on in the room. So Adam French, you've been gifted the ohm wheel coin drawing, okay? For Tino. He gifted it to you. Okay, so there you go. Tino is sharing back the love for Adam. Now they're back, they're at the same level now. They don't have to owe anybody anything. What? Titan and Electric. See, it pays off to be in here in multiple rooms, okay? So he's increasing the odds the democratic way. James, okay, Titan Electric. Let's see what you get. Titan Electric. What do we got here? Welcome. Good morning. Ray, I didn't see you. Good morning. So, all right. Titan, you're in the drawing for the 2023 grounding and bonding course. Okay, so it's a 2023 G&B course. Okay, we'll be drawing that on around about March 31st. Okay, let's get to the little lesson I want to talk about today real quick. Okay, so, all right. So what we've got here is I want to talk about some of the more important tables to remember. So let's go back to 250 first. These are important tables. Obviously, you know ampacity tables, 310, 16, yada, yada, yada. But some of the more important ones, let's go back. So one of the first ones that I want people to commit their memory to, all right, is one, I don't know if I should say commit memory to. Actually, I want to do one more than that because there's one more here I want to get you first. Okay, this is the first one right here. Okay, so the first one I would say commit to memory is the table that you go to find the standard overcurrent protected devices. So you see all this type of stuff where we talk about moving up or to the next standard size. You see those references talked about throughout the code. When we see it doesn't correspond, you get to go to the next standard size. One table to keep in mind is this one is 240.6a. This is the table that you would go to if you're finding standard overcurrent protected devices. Now remember, they do make overcurrent devices available on the market that aren't standard, that are usable, but when the code says up to the next standard size, this is a table you want to go to, okay, 240.6a. So this is definitely one of those tables that you would tab. If you're doing your own tabs, you put a little tab on there. It's table 240.6a, which is standard amp ratings of fuses and inverse time circuit breakers. Inverse times means the more the current, the quicker it'll trip. It's inversely proportional, okay, that type of thing. So this is where you go to a standard, just a standard inverse time everyday circuit breaker and fuses, okay? So the standard list right here, okay? All right, that's the first one that we would remember. Jot that down, write a little note down. That's a table, important table, especially for exam prep. All right, so the next important table that I like to go to is I jump us up to 250. And the first one in 250 that I like to look at is obviously the no-brainer table, is 250.66, which is right here. So 250.66, this is a table that you commit to memory. This table is for what? The grounding electrode conductor. So any question I get on the exam that's talking about sizing the grounding electrode conductor, things like that, that is from your panel, from your grounded conductor point down to the electrode and sizing it based on the size of the largest ungrounded conductors or equivalent if you have parallel sets. You're going to size your grounding electrode conductor based on this table. Okay, now, if there is rod, pipe, or plates, if it is a ground ring, if it's a UFER, and that's the only electrode, and it doesn't continue on to any other electrodes, then you get to deviate from this table, and you get to look at 250.66a, b, and c. That's the ones that are specific. They're not exceptions. They're permitted allowances for you to be able to use those tables, use those sections other than using this table. But if you have a water pipe ground or question with a water pipe ground, or if you have a question about in-ground steel bonding or something like that, then this is a table you want to default to, okay? But if you have rod, pipe, or plates, ground ring, that type of thing, or you have a UFER, then don't forget 250.66a, b, and c. They can be your friend, okay? Can be your friend. Horrible human. If you're in our chat, you can't be a horrible human. I'm just saying. Okay? Might want to change that to lovable human, right? All right. So that's 250.66. Anyway, welcome to the stream. All right. The next one we go to, important table that I think in 250, obviously, is this one right here. Okay. So this is 250.102. And this is when you're going to be sizing grounded conductors, and you're going to be referenced here also by things like 250.24. It's going to reference you here for sizing. So this is a table to be familiar with, is when you get down right here, supply side bonding jumpers. Okay, you have rules right here on doing it, whether it's single or you have multiple parallels, and it's going to be sending you to this table right here. So get used to this table right here. So If you're dealing with sizing the grounding conductors and it's going to send you to a table, this is the one you're going to be familiar with. Lock it in your brain, 250-102C1. This is the table, minimum table sizing for grounding conductors. Of course, you got to do a load calculation because, again, your neutral load for that grounding conductor may be larger than what's in this table, but this is a minimum rule. Okay, so you can't be less than this. So you've got the grounding conductor here. Check it out. Main bonding jumper is going to reference this table. System bonding jumpers for separately derived systems are going to reference this table. Okay. Supply side bonding jumpers, all of that is going to reference this table. So 250-102C1, get that table locked in your mind. That's one of my important tables in 250 for you to remember. Okay. And then obviously the no-brainer one here is a table that you want to commit to memory is right here. And this is 250-122. So this is for equipment grounding conductors. So remember the differences in 250 so you can kind of remember them all. If I'm doing a GEC from the panel to the electrode, 250.66. If I'm sizing the grounding conductor, main bonding jumper, if it's not like a screw, if it's a wire type or supply side bonding jumpers, think 250-102C1 table. If I'm thinking equipment grounding conductors, you know, that's the one that's going to be on the load side of an overcurrent device, so we can clear the overcurrent device. And that equipment grounding conductor is based on the size of the overcurrent device. That's why it says that right here, right? So in that scenario, remember table 250.122. So that's how you differentiate them when I ask you a question. If a question gets asked about grounding electrode conductors or the grounding electrode system, 250.66. If it's asked about supply side bonding or grounding conductor minimum sizing, think 250-102C1. If I'm asking you about sizing the equipment grounding conductor from the load side of an overcurrent device, then think 250-122. These are the three key tables in 250 to just lock in your brain right now. Just lock them in and you'll forever have to remember those tables, okay? All right, the next important tables that I like to jump to from here is the ones that, other than chapter 3, which, you know, like ampacities and stuff like that. But I will give you an important table to think about in chapter 3 when it comes to struggling with THHN or THWN-2 or which is rated 60 or 75, depending on the conditions of use. And again, these references are in the 2023 NEC, by the way, if you're following. The one first thing that I would say is an article when you're dealing is, let's see, it's not going to be, no, hold on. It's in 310. I don't know why I clicked that. Bear with me. It won't let me click out of it. Okay, we'll just go down to it. I'm sorry. For me, it's the conductors, all right? And this is where you go down here, and we're going to scroll down if it lets, there you go. All right, so here is the table. This table is extremely important when you're sitting there wondering, okay, is THHN okay for wet, damp, or dry? Well, if you know the nomenclature, you know that it's a dry location only product, but it can be used in a damp location, believe it or not, okay? All right, so, for example, I share this table. This one, table 310.4, which also in previous editions, it was 310.104, an immensely powerful table. Because in here, it gives you the different trade names of the different, and it gives you the letter types. So remember I said THHN? So you just scroll down here and we look for THHN right here. You notice it says 90. Check this out. Dry and damp locations. Did you know that? Not wet, dry and damp locations, which is their defined terms in Article 100, right? But if you come down here, you'll say, okay, but typically what? Not rated for wet, but usually wire is dual rated. So it's THHN/THWN-2, right? So I'm going to go look for THWN right here. Now you notice that right here, it's got both THWN and THWN-2. Remember I told y'all what's the significance of this -2? The -2 means you can use it at 90, dry and wet. And wet is more restrictive than damp, so obviously it's okay for damp. They don't need to put damp on here. Makes sense, right? So if it doesn't have that -2, then you're going to be doing your adjustment and corrections if you have them from the 75. This is why most all manufacturers do the -2, because that makes the installation rate at 90. So if you're doing adjustment and corrections in the field, you can use the ampacities from 310/16. You can use the 90 to adjust and correct rather than from the 75 if you didn't have that -2. You learned a little tip today. Okay, engineers should know that. All right, so, but notice how it can give you information, the ratings. All that's, it's just a great table to lock away in your brain, okay? All right, I just wanted to throw that one out there. All right, so the next big tables that I tell you that I like to remember, okay, there's a lot of tables, but big ones that I like to remember, or different things I like to remember, is 430 in motors, okay? So the first thing that I like to do in 430 is, when it comes to tables, is 430.52, okay? So let's get there. Hold on. Let me scroll around. There we go. All right, very big table. Commit this table to memory. So if you get a question that wants to know what the short circuit ground fault protection requirement is for a motor, whether it's doing it for feeders or branch circuits, because when you're dealing with the feeders, it's going to ultimately send you back to this table anyway, right? So this has to do with depending on the type of overcurrents you have, right? So you have non-time delay, dual element time delay, instantaneous trip, and then of course we have inverse time, which is your standard circuit breaker, okay? So you're going to take the FLC, full load current. Where do we get that? That's another important table to remember. Okay, those tables are at the back of 430. That's 248, 249, 250. All of those tables commit to memory. So if somebody wants to know what is the amps of a specific motor, then you don't use the nameplate when you're sizing the short circuit ground fault protection, or even sizing the conductors generally. You're going to use what? The FLC. Well, now if you're doing overloads, you use the nameplate values, that type of thing. Or if you're using various type of special duty motors, like for elevators, then you're going to use the 430.22E, and that's going to be based on the nameplate. But everywhere else, generally for conductor sizing, for short circuit ground fault protection sizing, all of that type of stuff, you're going to be using this table to get your short circuit ground fault protection rating for that device, right? All right, so that's that. But remember I said about those other tables? Well, absolutely. Those tables are down here. And let me get to the end of them here. So these are the various tables down here, and they're right here. These are the tables to commit to memory. So here's your first one. I'll just expand it. This is 432.47. So this is full load current. This happens to be if your question is dealing with a DC current motor. In case you didn't know that, DC current motor, that's what that one deals with. And then probably one of the most common ones you'll deal with is this one. 432.48, full load current. Again, FLC, different than the FLA or the nameplate current. This is different. And why do we choose this versus the nameplate for conductor sizing and for short circuit ground fault to apply the percentages? Why do we do that? Because these numbers that are back here are set in stone. So if you replace a motor and you sized everything for this, then even if the motor becomes more efficient, the current will just be less. You never know what somebody's going to replace a motor with. So if these are standard values that we use for the current levels for those motors, then we can ensure that when Titan's running out there, James is replacing a motor somewhere, that if everybody follows these tables, then we know that the conductors that are there are sized properly. We know that the short circuit ground fault protection is going to be adequate because we're basing everything off of these tables. Now, the only thing, again, that deviates is, again, overloads and things like that, which you're going to use the FLA. And the reason we're going to use that off the nameplate for overloads is because that ampacity has other factors like power factors and other conditions that help create that nameplate value. All right, but we're just solely looking for the values that are going to be locked in place, okay? And that's why we use the FLC. So when they ask you something about a motor's conductor sizing, think FLC. This is the first place you need to go, depending on the horsepower of the motor, in order to find the amps. And once we have that amps, then we can do everything else. Okay. All right, so that's the other table. And then, of course, the most important one probably that all of you use. Now, this is, again, this isn't for exam. This is not the most important one, this one. For exams, just don't forget that there is an FLC one for a two-phase alternating current motor. Okay, so don't let them throw you because there are values for that. You've got to read the question because they might just try to trick you up. Now, the most important one here that we use is this one right here for all of you folks that deal in three-phase applications, and it's very common on exams, is to ask you something with a three-phase motor. So here you go. So this is your three-phase motors, your traditional wound rotor, and your typical squirrel cage. But I'm going to show you something so that you don't get thrown off, is that you also have a question on an exam that might ask you about a synchronous type with unity power factor. Read your motor questions carefully because this constantly comes up on exams and people get screwed. They see a motor and it's talking about a synchronous type motor and they come back here and they use this side to get the FLC. No. You got to use this side. And you'll notice something. You see this little asterisk right here? That little asterisk is reminding you that you've got something here at the bottom of the screen, okay, that you have to be aware of. Okay, now I can't see this. So down at the bottom of the screen, I'll scroll down right here. See right here it says for a 90 and 80% power factor, the figures shall be multiplied by 1.1. So that's for a 90. And then an 80% power factor in the question is multiplied by 1.25. Okay. So you take these values you get up here, and if it's a 90 power factor or 80 power factor, then you're going to multiply it by these multipliers. Don't forget that only applies to the synchronous motors, that you'll go down to that little asterisk and apply that. Otherwise, you pull straight from the FLC. Okay? I just think that stuff's cool. So that's those short of some important tables. We'll cover more. So let me get it back to me and let you know what we got coming up real quickly. Let's do one more question real quick, and then I'll end it. A permanently wired radiant heater shall not be installed within blank feet of a swimming pool and shall be mounted at least blank feet vertically above the deck. So we're ending our little topic today on these type of things. So this is a heating unit. So dissect it, guys. I'll give you a second to dissect it for those that are still here. Okay. Obviously, you know where we're still at, right? Because it says swimming pool in it. But we're talking about a special piece of equipment here, a radiant heater. So I could go to the index, right? And I could look under swimming pools again, right? And you're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to look under, and I'm saying, well, I'm looking for heaters or something that gets me in that area. It might not be exactly, but we'll go to the index real quick since we know it's swimming pools, and that was kind of our motif today. I'll take us there. So let's see. I'm going to share this screen instead. All right, and let's see here. So we're still under swimming pools, okay, right here. And we're going down, and we're looking for, okay, this is radiant heater, so I'm just going to look and see what we've got. Remember, this is how you do it. So the wiring ground heaters and heating equipment, deck area. Remember, the question said something about the deck. That's why you have to analyze the question. It said something about the deck. Those things should trigger. And you go, okay, well, what does it say here? Well, it says 680.27. So remember that scratch paper? I'm going to write down .27 on it. But now while I'm here, I go down and also see here, it says deck heater, deck heating. 68.27C. I'm going to add the C as an extra one. Okay. And it's pool water heater. Didn't ask about the pool water heater. It talks about the decking. But again, let's go down and see if there's anything else while we're here. Since we're already in here, let's see. So here's another one for heaters, 680.28. So I'm just going to write .28 down since I'm here, right? Might as well. I'm already back here, right? And let's see here. Anything else that can get us there while I'm here? Nope. That should be it. Now, some people will say, hey, Paul, practice what you preach. You're already here, right? So why not take the opportunity to look under heaters or radiant heaters? Okay, I'll do it. Since I'm already in the S's here, I'll just go up to radiant and see if there's anything under radiant heating. This is how you use the index. You need to use it while you're studying so that you can learn what is and what isn't in here. So here's a P. So let's see here. There's A. And let's see, there's radiant heating. Look right here. Radiant heating panels and radiant heating sets. Okay, there's some information there, so that might take you there. Okay, but I went specifically to swimming pools because I wanted to be more detailed. Okay, but you could go right here as well, and you should go there in your journey while you're studying. I won't because I want to be a good steward of your time. But let's see here. Is there anything else? Nope, that's it. Okay, so we could go there, and who knows? It may say something. So you know what? Let's go there. Fixed electric space heating under radiant heating. Let's just go there and see if it says anything. Why not, right? Why not? I've already taken up your time. People will be dropping off. Hopefully you stay with me. Show that loyalty. Stay with me to the end. Okay, bear with my madness. I have a teaching style that some people like and some people don't like. I'm a very redundant teacher. Okay, so it's just my style. All right, so let's see here. Let's go to, let's get back to the beginning of F real quick. Okay, anyway, fixed. Okay, so that's in 424. All right, let's see here. But I'm going to look under it and see if anything references 680 because we know that this is a swimming pool question. So I'm using the actual references to see if there's anything extra in here. So I'm just bold scanning these references to see if there's anything in 680 because you and I both know we're talking about a pool. So I want to see if there's anything in here. Clearances, yada, yada, yada. Don't see anything. Okay. Patient. Okay. So again, wouldn't have been our best answer, but so we did it right. We did it the right way, right? We did it the right way. We actually did what? We actually went to the code and we saw that it was swimming pools. Now, since we're back into the NEC, we got some I wrote down. I wrote .27, so 680.27. That's what I wrote down. So I'm going to go to 680. And y'all already done this. All right, so I'm going to go to 680.27. And remember, this is specialized heating. Okay, we talked about it. I gave you kind of that there. All right, so we're going to what? We're going to go down and let's say it said C, but I can look and see that's about the pool cover. This is about under audio, believe it or not. Yep. And then here you go, pool deck heating. Okay. And here, permanently wired radiant heaters. Okay, C2. And you immediately see 5 feet and we see a 5 and a 12. 5 and a 12. Okay. Okay, vertically above the pool, 5 and a 12, 5 and a 12, that quickly. All right, so we'll come back to the lesson, and you see the only option for 5 and a 12 is right here. Click it, and there's our references. So that was a good lesson on dissection and how you would look at it. It's just going to take practice. It's not the index is not the holy grail. Not everything is in there, but I think you guys get it. You can get there if you spend the time and do it. Okay. The last thing I want to shout out to everybody is we are still working on Trade Hog. We're adding stuff in the background, and we are hopefully going to be expanding it even more and feeding it. Right now, you can see the free version that's available over on tradehog.net. Okay. But if you're looking for a good exam prep course, I have plenty of people that'll give you the testimonials to our courses, the methodology that we use to help educate you, the ability to ask questions inside of your course using our Fast Tracks Interact for the value. There is no better exam prep program out there. Now, if you already have a license and you just want to learn the NEC better and keep it in your pocket, we have a great course called Mastering the NEC. It's perfect for ongoing. Once you get past you get your exam, then that is the benefit of having Mastering the NEC course. And of course, we have our grounding and bonding courses as well. Davey says he's still hanging around for the training. I gave you the training. We did code questions, and I gave you a little my best tips. Okay, this isn't exam prep. This is just a coffee hour. I just go over code questions, but we're not coming here to teach you lessons. I am not going to replace what our Fast Tracks program does. I'll give you little tidbits every morning and get you started for the day, answer questions, those type of things. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see here. What does Russ say here? Russ says 601 should include a summary of what's the parts of the article, flipping back and forth. Russ, we eagerly await your public input for the 2029 edition. So whatever you think it should be, put it together. Do the work. Okay, you can't ask for something unless you're willing to put in the work, right? We're not going to do it. Code panels don't do that. People have to submit what they want in the NEC. We'll massage it and approve it. So write what you think it should be, and we send it to your send it in for a public input for the 2029 code, because the 2026 is already sailed. That type of thing. It's already gone. Let's see here. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, real quick before we end. Love, Laugh, and Explore says, I'm taking my master's test in a month. Use this course to get the journeyman in Texas. Well, awesome. So again, study hard. You get it. If you're still in Texas, if before March 31st, now you're doing the master's, right? So it's already 2 exams, right? 2 separate exams, that type of thing. Okay, so already doing that, okay? Davey says, came in late. You missed it, missed the beginning start. Well, you can always watch the replay, my brother, okay? Question we got real quick before we boast. Dude, throw those questions in there, guys. I'll get them before we leave. My Sparky Vibes. When does the 2026 NEC get released? It's typically not going to be released until right before 2026. We still have one more stage to go. That is the NITMAM. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be adopted in your state, obviously. Usually it takes a couple months later for things like Texas and other states. So other states take a long time. But we have one more meeting that we have to do. That's called the NITMAM, Notice of Intent to Make a Motion. So if there's something we don't like that was done in the first 2 passes, you have one more opportunity to do it for those that have made it, things that have made it that far. So we're going to be meeting. I don't know where it is. I think it's Vegas. I think it's in Vegas. Not my favorite town, but I like the majesty of all the lights and stuff like that, but again, it's not my favorite place. I don't like walking up and down the streets and people hounding you, but some people love that stuff. So one more attempt at it. That's the NITMAM, that type of thing, which you can still submit NITMAMs if there's something that you didn't like in the public comment stage. But yeah, you're looking for probably late in 2025, late this year, probably October, November, or the first of the year, it'll be released. And then it'll probably take states a while to adopt. I hope that makes sense, okay? All right? Okay. Also, for the 2026, you're not going to see a dramatic change in the NEC's layout. Some new articles, things moved around a little bit. It's the 2029 edition that's going to look dramatically different to everybody. And it's going to be supposedly a little easier to navigate once the 2029 comes around. So we'll see. Okay. Still the same code language, just a little easier to navigate, that type of thing. All right. All right, guys, everybody, I appreciate you all. Make sure you go check out fasttracksystem.com if you want good courses. We appreciate the patronage, helping us out. Definitely appreciate it. If you want to check out the Hog, and the Hog's basic free model is up right now. And we're going to be feeding the Hog. We're still feeding it right now, a lot of stuff. If you have something in a Word document from your state or locality, here, I'm calling out you guys now. If you have a document, intelligent documents from states, PDFs from your state, manuals, things like that, send them to us. Just send it to info at tradehog.net. Send it to us and we will feed the Hog. If you have local codes that you want to do that are local and you have them in a Word document, or you want to have a mission to go hunt that stuff out, you can help the Hog. You can send it to info@tradehog.net and we will feed the Hog. It's only going to make the model better for everybody. Total community collaboration. But guess what? We've got so much neat stuff coming for the Hog, interactive forums. We are going to make the Hog huge. We are totally invested. Some people ask about our energy thing that we were doing. We're still doing it. We have some legal stuff we had to get through when it comes to our energy management system program that we have. We're working with some lawyers to kind of get that fixed out, because we have to make sure we have our disclaimers in place. That's for our energy professionals. certified energy professionals. We'll be working on that. So much going on back here behind the scenes. We're not resting. I am nowhere near retirement, folks. And I love to teach the code. And we're going to have new videos. I'm just excited. Check out the Hog. It's at tradehog.net. Play with it. It's the dumbest it'll ever get. It's only going to get smarter as we feed it in. Okay. All right. James says, what is the best way to get involved in the code making panel process? Great question. So first thing anybody can do in the process is to understand that it's you that submit public inputs. All you got to do is go to nfpa.org, get a free account, and anybody, if it's a free account, anybody can submit public input. So if there's something in the code you don't like, a great way to get started is to learn how to create a public input. Maybe one morning I'll do a show on how to get involved and how to create really good public inputs to increase the chances that they will succeed. Okay, because a lot of stuff won't succeed. So in the future, we'll maybe do something like that. Whatever y'all want to do, send me at paulabernathy.com. Send me your recommendations. Hell, if you want to send them to the Hog, send me recommendations at info@tradehog.net. I don't care. There's millions of ways to get to me. That type of thing, right? I am very out there, okay? I answer anybody. I'm probably one of the few educators in the country that are this involved in social media and education and constant training. I don't hide behind the curtain. I don't run and only choose and pick what I answer. I answer questions, and I'll do that until I die. I love this trade. So anyway, check out the Hog. If you need a course or you recommend a course, we appreciate it. But James, the best way to get involved right now is to formulate public inputs. And when the public inputs come out, read them, and then formulate public comments. And you can do this all for free on nfpa.org, and you help make the code better. Now, if you want to get involved in the process, that's a different story. You have to be sponsored. For example, I'm on those code panels because I'm a member of the Aluminum Association and Copper Development, and I work for a major wiring cable manufacturer. So we have seats on that committee already. So that's how I got on there. But it's rare to get on there as an individual. Okay, but Ryan Jackson got on there as an individual. And so there's hope for people that want to get on there. Follow Ryan Jackson's model. He's a great guy, and he knew what he was doing. A very sharp guy, too. So there are other ways, but I tell all of you out there listening, the best way that you can get involved in the code is stop bitching behind the scenes about stuff you don't like. Write those public comments. Write those public inputs. Hell, send them to me. I'll massage them, and I'll put them in, and I'll even put your name as a submitter. I don't mind. It's all about helping everybody. Hopefully that answers your question, James. All right. All right, folks. Till next time, stay safe. God bless. Thanks for watching. And we will check you on the next. Tino says, thank you. I thank you too. Y'all have a great day. Stay safe. And we'll catch you on tomorrow's episode of Coffee Hour. And you don't know what I'll talk about, but bring your questions. We'll see you then. Take care. God bless.